Actually, we've been on the road for almost 3 weeks now here in the States and in Canada.
How long have you been in Vancouver? Yesterday?
We came in yesterday. We'll do the first show today, and we'll do the second show tomorrow in Vancouver as well.
And let's say for preparations for this tour, where do you guys go into doing this? You know, like into look into the set list and stuff. Did you guys change anything out of that?
Not really. I mean, we don't really like to rehearse. we play enough live as it is, we think. So it's we basically came from a tour right before Christmas. We ended it. So we have everything pretty much fresh in mind, and tried to throw around a couple of songs that we didn't play before, but most of the time it's down to time issues. We are 4 bands on this tour, and all bands needs to have a little bit of time to be able to play their songs, so we try not to play too long.
Now, another thing too, I see that In Flames is going to go on this tour for a little while now. You guys going to go until when?
Well, we do this up until it's like 5 weeks more in the States, and then we do go straight to Australia after this and do the sound waves down there, and that's probably 2.5, 3 weeks or something. And after that, we'll go straight to South Africa for the first time. It's going to be really exciting.
Now, let's say when you go overseas and just say all over the world, what type of guitar gear do you bring? Do you bring the whole gear systems that you use?
That also depends a little bit what kind of show it is and what kind of tour. Over here in the U.S., I have my American rig, which is pretty much the same stuff I have in Europe. I borrowed Doug Aldridge, the Whitesnake guy. I borrowed some of his amps because he has the same prototype Marshalls that I use in Europe. So he let me have those on this tour here, which is fantastic. And I basically bring 2 guitars and use the rigs that I have. But if it's a festival, we normally fly in or ship stuff a couple of days prior to the show, depending on if it's a headline or if it's a lower position on the festival, depending on what gear I'm going to need. But I try to travel lightly and try to be flexible because sometimes you never know. Things get lost and stuff, so I like to travel lightly.
When you are on the road, do you practice at all the guitar sometimes to keep your chops up and going?
What chops? Well, me and Niklas, we like to jam like an hour before show, so we just play around some of the songs and just some funny lead parts or just covers that we find. We have the same musical taste, so it's a lot of thin lizzy and stuff like that because it's fun and it sort of warms you up as well. So that's the kind of stuff that we do normally.
Now, when you do go on the road, do you go to stores sometimes and pawn shops and stuff and look at guitar equipment that there is at different places?
Yeah, of course,
sometimes?
Of course. Every guitar player probably would say the same thing. I mean, either you're a guitar player and a nerd, or you're not a guitar player. So, so of course, you're always interested in what's around. You can find, like a proper. I did a really nice find on a tour previous. I found the original Tube Screamer handcrafted, and I got it for a really good price. So, I mean, if you keep looking, you can find really cool stuff.
What's the rarest thing you found, lately? Would it be the Tube Screamer?
I've found some guitars as well, but I never really got the courage to buy one because it's usually very expensive, even though it's a fair price. I don't normally carry that kind of cash around, so if you want to get a vintage Gibson or something, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money. Now,
do you actually go look into music also sometimes, like rarities and stuff like that? Perhaps vinyl?
CDs and LPs? Yeah, sure. It really depends. Today I heard, unfortunately, it was a ripped and burned CD, but I went to this vintage store and they were playing the first Elf album, which I've been looking for that everywhere, so I was kind of hoping it was the original, but it didn't have that. It was a ripped CD, so. But stuff like that, that would be fantastic to find.
Yes, you're not coming across Elf too often with a Ronnie James Dio.
No,
they're kind of rare now.
Especially on CD, yeah. CD is kind of hard to find it. We're going to tour for some time, and then maybe 2014, 2015 or something. Let's see. Sounds far away, but it actually goes quicker than you think.
Time does go fast when you're on the road because it seems that you're on the road all the time.
Yeah, it feels like that as well sometimes.
When you write your music, do you write it on the road or at your house?
No, I'm very lazy and comfortable. I like to hang out with my friends, the other band guys, eat good food, enjoy company of friends that we acquired all over the world. I really don't have. It's not like I'm not inspired, but most of the time it's a logistical problem because you need to, bring all your Pro Tools gear and stuff if you want to make proper demos. I actually just got the iRig, and that's hopefully going to change that a little bit. So we'll see about that.
The iRig, like the guitar rig?
Yeah, it's an iRig. I think it's Amplitude or something.
Right.
It's just like the software you have for your iPhone. And this way I can record, I think, 2-3 tracks or something like that. So just get basic ideas down. It's more a fun thing to do. You don't need to bring your whole computer and Pro Tools and everything. You just have your iPhone and headphones, basically, and a guitar.
And have you tried that out yet?
I haven't tried it yet, but I borrowed a friend's, and he showed me a little bit about it, and it seems really cool. So, for what it is, it's never going to be a studio tool, but for things like this, being on the road and trying to track some ideas, that should be enough, I think.
It seems that they've gone long ways with those little things to make the sound of a guitar sound incredibly good, certainly on a iRig, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
The sound quality, on these, let's say even a pedal board, nowadays you can buy simulated effects. They're getting better and better. Yeah,
definitely. We fooled around a little bit with the 11 rack when we did the recording, but we ended up using proper real tube amps because it still is a huge difference, I would say. A lot of people like the Axe FX, whatever it's called. It's also a processor, and a lot of people that know how to use it actually like that as good as an amp. But I'm nerdy, but not nerdy in that technical aspect. So it's too much work for me.
Well, Bjorn, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you have a great tour, and I'm sure you will.
Yeah, are you coming out to the New York show?